Okay, so hey everybody, my name is Professor Kelsey Kohs here at Divination Academy. I am so happy you're here with me tonight. This is my series on magic basics and witchcraft basics. And tonight we are doing womb healing. I put that in basics categories, even though I feel like a lot of people don't know about it because it is something I truly wholeheartedly believe that if every single human being did this on the planet, like collectively, like our energy would be just so much better. We would have so fewer generational patterns and we'd have a lot less trauma going on. So, huge reason why I'm making this a part of this. Also, we just did Lilith in my Dark Goddess devotional classes, and she is a great deity to call on for this. And womb healing also is a complement to shadow work. They are not the same. They are different, and I'll explain kind of the difference, but they complement each other. And doing them both at the same time, I feel just awakens and brings so much more to you. So that's another reason why I'm doing it. Couple more housekeeping things. If you've never been to a class with me before or Divination Academy, so Divination Academy, we are a free online pagan academy. We believe that knowledge should be free and accessible to all, and we offer lots of classes on lots of different topics. How you can get a hold of us and reach us is first, I'll pop it into the chat. I will put the link for our Facebook page. This is how you can enroll in the Academy. This is the number one way to get in contact with us. If you send us a message on there saying that you would like to enroll as a student after class, which I hope you do if you aren't one, admins will reach out to you and help get you enrolled after that. Also, with that, you get access to our private online community. That's just amazing. You get lots of people to talk to and you build relationships and friends, and it's just, and resources and education. It's just amazing. The next thing that I will put in there, what did I copy next? That's what I did. Okay, next is our website. So if you go to divination.com, like our website here, this is where we have a ton of resources. This is where professor pages will be with study guide links if you don't get them here, if you need to access them later, lists for resources for books. Some professors even put almost entire books on there for you to have access to. That's also where you can learn information about the certification programs we offer, the private apprenticeships we offer, things like that. So definitely check that out. It's just full of lots of amazing resources. And then next, how you can watch these classes again after this if you'd like to, and if you want to check out any of our other topics. We have over 100 videos right now. You can check out our YouTube page. That's where this will also be posted afterwards as well. And then one other check of a little bit of housekeeping before we get going. I always like to do a little bit about myself. So my name is, like I said, Kelsey Kohs. I'm a new professor here with Divination Academy. I absolutely love bringing knowledge and spreading it to others. I consider myself a mystic. I pull from multiple different paths, pretty much every single path. I work with deities. I do a lot of energy work. My work is very purifying, cleansing, and healing. It's very ceremonial, very ritualistic, and very folk based because I have been a solitary practitioner for about 15 plus years. I've studied from a lot of different masters on a lot of different topics, ranging from witchcraft, paganism, different religions, and also shamanism as well. So that's just a bit about me. And then my one other thing, since we're doing womb healing, I have training in this. This is a newer one for me. I've only really dabbled in this one for about 2.5 years. I do not consider myself a womb priestess. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. There are people that do have that title. That's a lot more training and certification. I also don't particularly like titles. So I just want to put that out there. I do not consider myself that, but I do have training in this, and I personally also use this. So before we get going, do we have any just like general questions at all about anything like womb healing or anything before we get going? Or are we ready for me to just dive right in? What did you not know was a thing? The womb priestess thing? Yes, there's womb priestess. There's also tantra priestess, which are also different than womb priestess. They do things differently. I might as well just explain it now, I guess, since I'm here. So tantra priestess, they will actually like do some of the work for you. So they will actually start physically doing some of this work for you. I will answer that as well, Andrea. That's going to be another big thing I go over. And then womb priestess, what they will do is they will start to work with the energy like outside and then give you the tools to go and do the energy work internally on your own. Whereas, like I said, Tantra priestess, they will actually start helping you with like the internal work. So they'll actually take the yoni egg and the crystal wands and they will actually like physically use it on you. So I've heard, I haven't done this, but that's what I've heard and that's what I've read from most Tantra priestess that practice that they will actually like physically help you start that work. Whereas womb priestess, like I said, they start from the outside and then give you the tools to be able to do the internal work. And then Andrea, so what if you do not have a womb? This just gets me right into my beginning. I have a whole chunk that's actually not in the study guide from the beginning, which is different than what I normally do. Because it's very scientific. It's very, yes. Is this spelling tantra? Yes. Yes, honey. It's more like scientific and energy based, and that's just really hard for me to try to figure out how to word into writing into the study guide. But this answers Andrea's question. Everybody that is a human being that has ever been birthed through a womb can do womb healing. The reason being is because it's not just because you physically have a womb, it's your womb space. Yes, there's different womb work that can be done if you have a physical womb, but the womb space, which is going to cover like everything that's encompassed in your yoni energy, and I'll go over what the yoni energy is as well. That's a Sanskrit word. But it encompasses that entire space. So that's going to be like where, like I said, where your womb, your uterus, your vagina, it goes all the way up, down, like all the way down into your root and all the way up into the throat chakra as well. Like it's your entire womb space there. The other reason why, even if you don't physically like have a womb, we all have negative and positive poles in our body, no matter what gender we are. And those energies need to be worked with in tandem from opposite of each other where those poles are. So for example, like on the men's body, the penis is going to be considered the positive energy because that's just what it is. And I don't mean this in like a negative, like a bad good connotation. I mean it's simply just as positive energy. And then their breast area, which is men, like it'll cave in, that's their receptor for their negative energy and where their negative pole is. And it's the opposite for the female body. Yes, exactly like that. And so it's the opposite for the female body to whereas the womb, that's your magnet, that's your pole, that's where all of your that's the negative, like it's going to pull that negative energy. It's for the receiving, like that's for the receiving, not for the releasing. That's another thing with that negative. The negative energy is for your receiving. It's where everything's going to be absorbed, it's going to be taken in. That's why it's also very emotional and trauma, and that's where that all gets trapped. And then for women, like our breasts, like they go outwards, our nipples go outwards. That's more of our positive location, like that's where our positive pull is. So that's another reason like why, like even if you don't have a womb, like you still need to do womb healing because you can't just focus on that masculine energy. Like you can't just focus on that positive energy. If you're always doing output and not doing anything for receiving, you're not going to be balanced. Another reason why is because everybody goes through the womb. We all have trauma that'll get attached to us going through the womb and being in the womb. It'll actually go back generations, not just from like an energetic point, but it's going to go back generations from a scientific standpoint and a cellular standpoint. Because what the way it works scientifically at this point is every single like woman, what would men's negative be? That's their breasts. That's their breast area. It concaves in. That's their breasts. For the men. But okay, so when it comes to like the cellular level and the multiple generations, when you are 4 months old in utero, a woman, like especially like we've already developed every single egg we will ever have in our body. Like every single egg we will ever be able to release to have children is already in our body when we're 4 months in utero. So realistic, like when you look at that scientifically, like your grandmother had your egg inside of you from your mother, like multiple generations, like going back. The other reason why, like, even if you don't physically have a womb, you also need to do this is because you're connected to the cosmic womb, the universe itself. That's also another way to do womb healing. It's not just your physical womb. You also need to do it with the cosmic womb that you come from. And then I apologize. I am sick and have COVID, and right now I am literally just getting really dizzy for a second. Okay. So that's also the work when it comes to the cosmic womb, that you need to do the work to be able to connect to that cosmic womb as well. And the biggest thing is getting that trauma from generations and getting that work out from generations. That's going to be attached to you on a cellular level, on an energetic level, a spirit level, an ancestor level. Like, that's the biggest reason why I say, like, everybody should be doing this. But like I said, it's a scientific level of just balance as a whole. Those negative and positive poles, like, they need to be worked through. You can't just work through one. The other one is just going to end up becoming literally like a dumpster that's just going to sit there and hold all the debris and the very harsh negative, the trauma, the bad emotional thing triggers that you don't need. Like, that's what's going to be stored in the womb if you don't sit there and work on both of those poles. Yes, so that's how you look at it, like energetic level, why you need to do it even if you don't have a womb, things like that. And then when we go to it energetically as well, the other reason why is because in that space, we also have gates that are held. And even if you don't physically have a womb, you have to go through that energetic space to get to where the center of that is, which is where your cosmic womb is. And you need to be able to pull out that cosmic womb and that cosmic womb and that cosmic knowledge. Um, it also ties into the sacred geometry of our body, of how this is set up, of where those portals are, even like within the womb space itself. There's sacred geometry where you end up hitting the 8-sided tetrahedron, which is super sacred number. 8 is also the number for strength. So that's also part of it. So just by being present, we are all supporting Mother Gaia as she. Yep, I will agree with that, Andrea. 1000%. So when you look at it from like the sacred geometry and where all those gates are within the womb as well, like that's the energy that you're also needing to attach to. So when you're looking at it, I've been trained in 2 different symbols. One is either going to be the Egyptian Anak or the Celtic cross. And that's kind of how you're going to vision where these gates are within that womb space. Like I said, whether you have a womb or not, it's within that womb space. And you will also be able to connect to these energies within that womb space. So when you're looking at if you actually have a womb and if you have all of that, but this is in that, like I said, in that space, but it's going to be where the clitoris is. You're going to be, that's the first gate to, when you access that, that's going to be getting used that maiden energy, that hope energy, new beginnings. This is more of like an awakening energy. So this is coming after that soul death, rebirth, awaken. So that's what that first gate is. That second gate is going to be where your G spot is. That's going to be how you're going to actually connect to your lover energy and your mother energy. So that's where that's going to sit, like, within that sacred geometry, within that portal. Also, by the way, a little bit of sex magic as well. Also a little bit of anatomy. You have 2 G spots. You can hit it on both sides, in case you didn't know. If you take your fingers and just turn it completely opposite, you're going to have one on both sides. It's on both sides of your yoni. Just a little tidbit there. The next spot that you have is going to be your cervix. That's going to be the 3rd gate. That's how you access your crone energy. The spore spot is going to be towards the bottom of where your womb is. That's going to be how you're going to connect to your earth energy. Think of your root chakra. That's kind of where that one's attached to. Your 5th is going to be right in that, where that upper right ovary is going to be located. That's going to be your attachment to fire energy. Your 6th is going to be where you're going to come across to that top again. That's going to be your air energy. Your 7th gate is going to be that left ovary. That's going to be that's going to be attached to water. And then the right in that center. So if you're picturing like a Celtic cross, then not like right in that center, that's where that center, that cosmic womb is. That's where your cosmic energy is going to be. That's where that's going to be your path, your holy grail. Because when you look at it, your womb's your holy grail within your temple, and your body is your temple. So that's how you're viewing this like that. And that center space is that cosmic energy. It's that holy grail. Okay. From all of that, from the sacred geometry standpoint, from the energetic standpoint, do we have any questions on any of that, kind of explaining that before I go into more of like what you can get out of womb healing, how to do womb healing, a little bit more of like the energies and things like that? An infographic would be helpful for this. I agree. I just wasn't quite done making it. I'm going to be adding it to my resource list. I didn't quite get it added to the study guide. This one took a lot more to create because I wanted to layer the different versions, like the different parts of it. Can I go back over the 5th and 6th and 7th gates real quick? So the 5th, that's going to be in the right ovary space and attaches to the fire. The 4th is going to be the bottom, and that attaches to earth. So I saw that pop in. 6th is going to be your top part of your womb space, and that's going to be attaching to air. And 7th is going to be where that left ovary space is, and that's going to attach to water. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. So why we do womb healing? It really, honestly, it brings you on a really, really profound journey. It is, your womb is an incredibly like magical place. If you think about it, the best analogy that I have to think, Keratin. I'm gonna actually be going over her on Sunday. Keratin's cauldron. If you know anything about Keratin and her cauldron and like the mat, like it's literally said to hold all of the wisdom and magic and knowledge of the universe inside of it. Like that is the receptacle, and like that is the space that your womb is. Like it is literally a magnet. It is literally a magnet for all of that negative energy. It is a space for all of that wisdom. It's where your intuition sits. It's where your emotion sits. It's where your trauma gets to sit. It's where it all sits and absorbs. It's all within that womb space. It's a very, very magical, magical space. It is a place that holds your intuitive wisdom. It holds your creativity and your vitality. And it's like I said, it's not only just because like we give life to humans, but our cosmic womb knowledge is in there as well. Like this is life for everybody, everything. Like our cosmic knowledge is in there as well. So this is life for everything. This is vitality for everything. The womb is one of the best examples as well for like your body going through the cycles of life, especially because you go through it. Some of us go through it every month. I got super lucky. I gave birth to my son and never again. I love it. Okay. And then the womb is also a place, like I said, your traumas, your emotions, your pain, your numbness, your disconnection from society. If you have a tendency to dissociate, like this is where like those are gonna like those memories and places are gonna be stored. Because like I said, like your womb, like that's your negative pull in your body. Like that's your negative magnetic energetic pull. That's where those are gonna go. Again, it's shaped like a cauldron, like it's meant to hold that there. And this is why we practice womb healing, because that's where that's all stored. This is a super ancient practice. It's across many cultures. The one that I see it the most in is Hindi, and India. I like to just say all of them, mainly because the yoni energy comes from Sanskrit. And this is just like, it's a super, super old practice with them. So like this isn't something new. I feel like for some reason, like it's all of a sudden popping up again. I think it's kind of like why our stomach hurts when something bad happens. Yes, big reason why. That's why like that gut feeling for intuition is such a saying. Like that gut feeling for intuition, like that's where it is. Another reason why, like also is like I I have a theory tied to sacred geometry about it, but all of my teachers that have ever taught me about chakra at all that I've ever studied under have always said that like your soul is housed in your pelvis area. Like that's literally where your soul literally lives. Like that's where your soul is housed, is in your pelvis area. So like that's another reason why I think the womb healing is such a big deal, because your soul's right there. Like your trauma's being stored right on top of your soul. Like it's right there. So I think like that's another reason like why it's also becoming so big. We also had the big femininity movement. So like a lot of women are really like we're really trying to get out of this patriarchy. We're trying to get out of this like we haven't had access to our feminine power for so long that we're really trying to get access to it. We weren't taught this and we're really trying to gain access to it. I think that's another reason why it's becoming so big and I don't have an issue with that at all. Um so huge, I'm going to list some reasons for why it's so important. It's benefits that you can get from it. I don't think I'm going to explain them too much because a lot of them are really self-explanatory. But you gain emotional release from it. I've come out of womb healing sessions and been on the floor sobbing when I'm done, but like in like the best way. It also helps you release like the emotional release of things that you didn't even know were there. I mean, I didn't even realize it took me until I started doing the womb healing process to even understand that the way that I lost my virginity and my whole first sexual relationship was all non-consensual. And that was something that like until I did this, I didn't have the ability to release those emotions and understand that. So that like it really, really helps bring up that trauma and release it and give you that safe space to let go of it. Because like I said, otherwise it's just sitting there stored. And so many people don't do anything with this. Like you're getting it from generations past, you're getting it from everything that's in your womb, and then everything you've been through in your life that you haven't touched is just sitting there in this space. So it's a really big emotional release that you get out of it. It can lead to, because of that release, you end up getting clarity. And when you get clarity, you end up being able to create balance. And if you've had classes with me, I say that that's the absolute key is always maintaining balance and duality. So that's for me a super, super goal. Andrea, hold on. I see something in the chat here. Womb healing has returned with refers to original divine feminine here to be restored in balance. Nice. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that. Okay, next, for why it's so important is you get enhanced intuition. Of course, you're gonna get more enhanced intuition if you start connecting to more of your divine feminine. To me, like it just seemed like that just seems to go like it seems very logical that go hand in hand. Also, with the emotional release, you end up clearing energetic blockages within your chakras, within your yoni, within all your different energetic fields that you have within your aura. So when you are able to release those energetic blocks, your intuition becomes so much more heightened. Trust me, it can be a lot, by the way. Like if you start to think that you're experiencing like an energetic blockage, water, grounding, and making sure you're meditating. And if you work with deities, going to your altar, like do that a lot more. Going through an awakening is a lot. I'm just going to give you a little bit of a warning with that. Physical well-being obviously is also going to get better. It just does. I don't. I bet you if you pulled really hard at it, Andrea, you'd feel it. I bet you. Because there's three spaces that you'll feel it in. It's actually here in your womb and then in your third eye. That's how I'm taught. That's how I've been taught by a couple of different masters, is that your intuition will show up feeling in three core places that you need to look at. And it's your third eye, it's your heart, and it's your womb. Physical well-being. So obviously your physical well-being gets better when you're emotional, spiritual, and all to like when those three get better, your physical well-being just gets better. I can't explain it any other way except for just they're so linked. So your physical well-being, obviously it's not going to cure miracles or anything like that, but it will get better. When I started doing this and releasing like a lot of the trauma, I started noticing that I wasn't feeling like physically sick all the time, like I was going to throw up all the time. My body wasn't shaking quite as much. I wasn't having quite as many dizzy spells. My migraines weren't as bad. So when you start releasing that trauma and working with that, you get your physical well-being is going to get better. You're not going to have things like that popping up quite as much. That makes a lot of sense. The majority of my physical, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's super common. Another area, especially if you're going through an awakening, I don't know any other way to describe it, but it's in your back, like in between your shoulder blades, almost where like if you had wings that were going to be sprouting, you'll start to feel like a lot of pressure and pain there and knots. And also in your neck. I've a couple of my teachers have taught me that it shoots down that way from the third eye. So that's why you'll feel it from here through your neck. So lots of stretching helps with that. Yeah, lots of stretching will help with that if you feel that there. Other reasons why it's important is your creative expression. If you end up, like obviously, if you end up unlocking, tapping into more of your divine feminine energy, your creativity is just going to blossom because you're balanced and you're healed, and you're going to want to creatively express. In the study guide, I did put some in there that are recommended, but they're pretty basic. So it's just, artwork, journaling, dance and movement. I really want to stress that one, especially for this one, because that actually is one of the ways that you can do womb healing is through dance and movement, but it needs to be intentional dance and movement that opens your hips and brings you joy. It can't just be like mindless, I'm just going to do this to do this, and it needs to be very intentional. I'm opening my hips. This is bringing me joy. I am literally releasing that emotion while I'm doing this. So that is one way to creatively express, also to do some womb healing. Music, amazing. The reason why that works is because it's vibration, it's sound. The bottom of your womb, sorry, not the bottom, like the left side is attached to your water, so you might feel it a little bit more over there. I've noticed that personally myself. But music creates that vibrational expression, which helps you release things. Also, even just speaking and doing like the singing of your name sound. And what that is your name just with your vowels, and it's just harmonizing with your voice, the vowels of your name. And if you do that, that vibration will connect to your womb, connect to your soul, and those vibrations will come out. And vibrational healing with energy is just amazing because that's what energy is. It's just vibrations. So that is another one. And then rituals and ceremonies. You don't have to perform them for other people, but even just designing them for yourself. Anybody can write an invocation or a ceremony or a ritual or a spell. It can be anything that you want it to be. You can even do it just for washing the dishes to bring you joy while washing the dishes. So doing things like that to spark your creativity and to purposely connect the divine feminine as well, is something that I would recommend doing. Other benefits that you get from this and reasons for why doing this is relationship healing. You're working on your divine feminine energy, like at its core. So it is obviously going to help you with your relationships. It's going to help with your communication. It's going to help you be able to positively impact your relationships because you're going to be able to promote healthy boundaries for yourself within that relationship while having self-love for yourself, because you can't be in a solid relationship like that without it. Another reason why I also have this in here is because if you are in a relationship, I feel like it's super, super important that you have access to this energy, because no matter if your partner is of the opposite sex of you, and like for example, like I'm married to a straight man, like it doesn't matter, like he still has that womb energy. Like I need to be able to give him time to sit and hold in that womb energy. We need to be able to take turns to be able to hold and cradle each other in that energy. And by working on your own womb energy, working on your own womb healing, you're able to sit there and help your partner be held when they need to be held when they go on that journey themselves. Because you're not really going to be able to do it at the same time. But like I said, working on your own gives you the ability to hold your partner while they're doing it while they are doing it. I can just speak from personal experience. Like I've been with my husband for 13 years. So like we have these moments where there are times where he really has to hold me in my womb energy, in my own womb space, because of something I'm going through. And there's times where I really need to hold him in that. And I wouldn't be able to do that. He wouldn't be able to if we didn't focus on those energies at times. This also helps you get self-empowerment, because you get to heal. And by healing, you get to reclaim those pieces of yourself. You get to reclaim your truth sometimes. You get to reclaim who you are. There's so many different things that come with that help give you personal power to be able to stand in your own. It helps you be able to release limiting beliefs about yourself, by clearing out that womb energy. Like you're letting go of so much that's going to get cut out, so much of blockage that's going to get removed, that you're all of a sudden going to be sitting there and be like, how come I used to not be confident about this? Because it doesn't make any sense. Like it's just gonna hit you one day like this, like it's gone. Like it's gone. You don't need to feel that way anymore. Um, Obviously, again, it helps you with your sacred feminine connection. The big one that I feel is super, super beneficial is the healing the generational patterns. Um, this is super important to me. This has been a huge goal in my life, and I have found that I was working really, really hard on breaking generational patterns when it came from a mental health standpoint, going to therapy, doing all the programs I needed to do, working on it from a mental health standpoint. And I was making tremendous progress, but I wasn't quite getting to that golden egg point. I wasn't getting to that point to where I felt like I had truly had that breakthrough to where it was no longer like a generational pattern for me that I was having to constantly check myself on and constantly try to hold myself up. It didn't start to happen until I did womb healing and I really got into womb healing. The reason why I think that is because womb healing attacks your generational patterns, it attacks your energy, it attacks your trauma from a physical standpoint and not just your mental health and your mind standpoint. So you're able to go in and physically clear that out, which is like that last little piece that you need. You can do all the work that you can, like mentally, but if that energy is still physically attached to you, it's gonna keep coming up. It's gonna keep like it's gonna eventually like it's still there. So when I started doing that womb healing to physically clear that energy out, is when I started to notice I was no longer getting triggered by things that were clearly generational patterns. Like my son's 2.5 and he's on the spectrum and I have OCD, and there were times where I would literally have to walk away because I would raise my hand because it was I was taught that eating's what you got. I would literally have to walk away just because he put the marker on the wrong color pen. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I can't be doing this. And I had done so much mental health work at that point, and the fact that I could stop myself and walk away was amazing, but I didn't even want that urge to be there anymore. That didn't start happening until I did the womb healing, until I physically cleared that energy out. And then that connection was made. So this is why I think that this is so important, because it's going to save our children and our children's children from having to do this work. When you clear it out energetically from your womb, children are not going to be gestated in trauma anymore. They are not going to be spending their entire gestation period in a womb, in trauma, in negativity. So they won't have to do all of this generational pattern work. So that's why I feel like this for me is like the biggest reason. That's why I'm hitting this really, really hard. Can you teach us how? Yes, yes, I will get to that at the end. Because I'm just gonna touch on this briefly right now, just because you're saying this. Usually I end with doing like guided work with you guys and calling people in and stuff. I'm not gonna do that for this topic. If this is something that you guys want me to do that with, I want you guys to do a private apprenticeship with me, because this is such a personal thing and this is such personal energy. I don't want to put this in a big container like that. Also, some people may not be comfortable talking about making themselves orgasm and looking at their vagina and looking at all of that stuff like in a group of people. So, hearing me talk about it, you might be totally fine with, but you may not want to actually talk about the work with other people. So that's another reason why, like, if this is something like I would rather that be something that you ask to be a part of your private apprenticeship with me. Because like I said, this is just, it's very personal energy. Also, I'm not feeling the best right now. I don't want to pull you guys into that energy either. I am a purifier and a cleanser and a healer, and I don't want to pass any sickness on to you guys. So that's also another reason why I'm not doing that. Okay, so back to benefits and why we do this. Energy flow. It restores a healthy energy flow in your body. If you have a bunch of gunk and debris and a bunch of junk sitting in there, your energy is not going to flow in your body correctly. It's just not. It's just not. It just seriously, it just can't. Hold on, let me check the chat. A bunch of stuff came in here. Okay. Yes, it's totally fine to do this pregnant. I triple checked. My masters have had other people do it. They would just tell you not to do the steam, which we'll go over that. just because like each child might react differently. But so they would just tell you not to do the steam. I did, but I was working with a shaman I've been working with for a very, very long time. So the amount of trust I like had in her was very different. But yes, yoni steams. I did my first one a month ago. It was interesting. It's so liberating, but it's definitely interesting. Um, but yes, you can. But yeah, you can definitely do it. I was told they actually kind of prefer to do it, but what they recommend not doing is do not put a yoni egg in there if you are pregnant. That was the big no-no I was told. Do not put yoni eggs in there. And while we're here, we're gonna get to yoni eggs. The myth that it can get lost and stuck up there, it's not a thing. I have not found a single case of that ever happening. If you're afraid of that happening, there's precautions you can put in place, but nothing. Okay, so I think that's everything that I have in there for benefits and things like that. In the guide, I do have some signs to recognize, like if your womb itself is calling out to you to let you know that like you need to do some womb healing, like if you have a physical womb. So that I do have that in the study guide, so I would take a peek at that. So I've been talking about like the yoni energy and like what that is this whole time. The yoni, oh my goodness, my thing is not loading. So I've been talking about the yoni and like what the yoni energy is. So it's the energetic field that connects women to the earth, and it roots us into the earth. It creates our peaceful existence. It connects us to the present, the now. It's also linked to our sacral chakra. It's connected to water. It is literally the representation of that water flows within and out life. It's representing that life should be effortless. Yoni is it's literally like all of the divine yumminess, energetic energy. It's a Sanskrit word. It comes from Sanskrit. It is used with all of that. Um, it's I don't know anything else that I really need to say about that besides defining what yoni is. It's pretty basic. It's pretty simple once you hear the definition of it. So ways to heal your womb. Yoni steaming. Super, super awesome ancient tradition across many different traditions. The one that I am familiar with she is attached to Pachamama. That's the one that I have seen. I've been familiar with. What it is, it's really just a steaming process where you end up boiling water. Specific herbs are placed inside of it. And then when the steam is coming up, you're literally squatting over the steam. And you have nothing on. Like you can wear a flowy dress, like people wear flowy dress and stuff. But, like you don't have underwear or anything on. Like your vagina, like your womb, like everything is just out there, and the steam will go up into it. It is recommended not to do it for any more than 30 minutes. And with the steam going up into it, what it is doing is some of those herbs are used for like antibacterial, like things like that. They're used for like a medicinal purpose. It's also an energetic spiritual purpose. It helps with regulating your period. It helps with balancing your hormones. If you have issues with wetness and things like that, it'll help with that. It'll help easing periods, making them a little bit more smoother, making them not quite so if they're like very like heavy periods, it can help relieve that, not so crampy. The energetic benefits of it is it helps you release absolutely anything and everything energetically that you haven't been able to get out. So like it helps you clear out that yoni and that womb space. It also spiritually and energetically has the ability to cut cords. That was a purpose for me with doing this. I have tried to cut cords with my mother multiple different ways and it has not worked. This is my most latest attempt. So far, this has been the biggest success for me. So that is another way, like they really, really can cut those like generational cords. Herbs that are typically used are going to be basil, chamomile, lemongrass, rosemary, lavender, oregano, marigold, and calendula. Each herb has different benefits. It'll get mixed into a different variety. Sometimes it'll be a little bit different for each person, how much is in there. At least from what I've heard from different practitioners. Every practitioner is going to be a little bit different. And then, like I said, they caution to not do it for any longer than 30 minutes. Like I said, the benefits that it brings you. Some people actually say that it can help you conceive even, that it helps fertility. I don't know how much fact is in that one, but that is one that I've heard. It will help you bring balance to you and your womb. It helps regulate your periods. It helps create a menstrual period if it's been gone. It helps reduce yeast infections and bacterial infections. It helps speeds up like the healing process after birth. That's one that I've seen it do for. It also can help increase your libido if you have a slow libido. That is another benefit that you can have from it. Another thing that can help with is simply just like helping you tone up your. Nope, they make sure it's safe. I didn't have an issue with getting scalded. I haven't heard of anybody getting scalded. I've definitely been burned really bad by steam and water, but that I didn't have that issue. Is there a day of the month or a day of the month or lunar cycle that you recommend doing this on? Honestly, I've never been told that. So, you know what? That'll be a takeaway. I will go and see if there's an answer for that one. That's not something I've heard. I have found them as mixes in metaphysical stores. Otherwise, you can also just buy them separately. Most of them are typically easy to find. I guess it depends on your area. For me, easy is 2.5 hours away. Um, but yes, I have seen them. I have seen them sold in bundles though, specifically for this. How do we know how much to use? So I should have attached that to the study guide. I didn't do that, did I? Okay, thank you, Jody, for calling that out. I will add that tonight. I will add that as soon as we're done. It was supposed to be in there. I will give you that. So it's actually to be a certain time of our moon cycle or the phase of the moon that would be best for it on a spiritual level. So I've never been told a specific time. I would say, for me personally, I would feel like it would be the full moon because the full moon is meant for releasing. And that's the biggest thing you typically get out of a yoni steam is the releasing and is the clearing out of energy. You could do the new moon though as well because you're wanting to plant new seeds of intention and you're wanting to plant new cycles and you're wanting to do that as well. So I think it would depend really on the intention you're wanting to set for it. And I think that's probably why I've never been told a specific time. Is because yes, he's new moon would be you're planting new seeds. So you would want brand new energy in there. And you obviously always clear, sage, everything on the new moon. But you also do that on the full moon because the full moon is releasing. So I could see it being attached to both. And I could also see each practitioner wanting to do something different depending on what type of period you have and what type of moon you attach to, because your period also attaches to a specific type of moon, whether you're a red moon, a white moon, a purple moon, or a pink moon. So that I could see some practitioners actually also taking that into account as well. So that's I'm gonna check on this one because that's like I said, I've never been told, but I could see why I could see, and I'm coming up with a lot of answers on my own too, just talking it out. I'm gonna double check on that though. I can reach out to she usually responds to me within like a day and a half, so I can reach out to her too and just double check. No, you can be super curious. I want you to be super curious. Oh, trust me. I shouted out this new moon 3 weeks ago because I was like, oh my goodness. Ooh, yes. Do you have info about the different color? I do, but I didn't have it prepared for this class, I was going to teach it in the sex magic class, but if you guys want it before then, I can put together the resource before then as well. I was planning on touching on those during the sex magic class. Okay, so you want colored moons. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know. We are in eclipse season. It is literally eclipse after eclipse after eclipse after eclipse right now. And we have unique eclipses right now as well, because the one that's coming up on Friday is an annual I can't pronounce it. It's annular lunar eclipse. So it's actually, sorry, solar. So it's actually going to look like a ring of like fire. It's actually going to be like a ring with how it's outlining. So it's actually, sorry, off topic. You guys got me off topic. Oh, that's what the chat does. Okay, I love it though. Okay, so next. Okay. Any questions? Any more questions on the Yoni steam? Yes, I agree with that. Yes. Okay, so the next way to help heal and do womb healing is going to be through self-pleasure and healing your womb. Pleasure is one of our favorite ways to heal when it comes to womb healing. We're not talking about just like a quick fix like orgasm. We're talking about like you explored your yoni, you explored yourself, like you feel fully saturated, like your womb has experienced emotions of joy and pleasure and orgasm. Like it is all of that in one. It is very, very intentional self pleasure with yourself. When you're doing this, also it's very important that you make sure that you are going counterclockwise with movements. That's with the movement of the moon. So making sure that you're going counterclockwise with your movements, with your fingers, with your yoni egg, with your crystal wand, whatever you're using. You want to make sure while you're doing this that you're taking really deep breaths and you are exploring yourself. Like you are fully feeling yourself. We can never actually physically get to our womb because of our cervix if you have a womb and you're doing this. So like exploring yourself as much as you can. Like this is going to be the closest physically you can get to this energy. You want to make sure that before you do this that you set the intention that this is why you're going into this self-pleasure session, is like that is the intention of this, and that you are starting on the outside of your womb area and your energetic field and going in. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to that entire womb space from the external to the internal. You can certainly use oils if you like. You want to make sure that you take your time. And if there's any emotions that are coming up while you're doing this, because you should, like I said, before you do this, you're going to make sure you have that meditative intention that you are doing this to explore yourself and your emotions. So like if there are feelings that come up, like you need to hold yourself in those feelings. If they end up being negative feelings, you need to wrap yourself in love while you're doing this and still continue to feel that pleasure. You can then move on to your yoni with your crystal wand, your crystal egg. I always, like I said, I recommend starting with your fingers first, and then you move on to the other things. Like I said, the crystal wand, the yoni egg, oils, like I said, they're fine, and sensations are fine. But like this and like that orgasm, like when you are feeling that pleasure and that orgasm, like you are releasing all of that trauma, like all of that stale energy is coming out with you. That is the intention with that. That is what that explosive energy is. Like that's what that intention needs to be when you are releasing that and feeling that. Another reason why this helps with this healing is it helps you reconnect to yourself. It helps you reconnect to yourself. It helps you reconnect to your divine feminine energy. Like it's so important. It helps you create like self-confidence. It helps you create those boundaries. Like energetically, you are physically going in and stirring those trauma and those emotions up. Like energetically, you are physically going in like you are the spoon in that magical cauldron. You are the physical spoon in that cosmic wisdom within your womb space. It's like that is why that is so important for that physical pleasure to be able to do the womb healing. When you are doing that as well, We recommend that you try to do your finger movements as best as you can. Like I said, the counterclockwise, but also try to do it either in the shape of a Celtic cross as often as you can throughout your whole thing. Otherwise, throughout your whole like vagina, throughout your whole womb. And otherwise, the Egyptian anak, that shape as well. Because those, like I said, that's how it is like geometrically set up. That is the shape of those gates and those portals that are within your womb space. So doing it within those helps you hit all those portals as well, and helps you pull in all of that energy. The next thing that you can do for womb healing is womb massages. So now this is different because your goal is an orgasm. Your goal isn't releasing energy. The massage is literally massaging. It is literally working out any spots where you feel that pent up energy, where you feel that pent up trauma, where you feel that negative, like that negative stuff that's just stuck. So this is, like I said, it's more of like the massage. It's not the goal of orgasm and releasing the energy. It's the feeling part. It's the part of being completely aware and full and centered and grounded within your magical womb space and grounded in your space of vitality and grounded in your space of life. The next thing is self-exploration. This is different than the massage because this is going to be visual. Some people don't like doing this. I think maybe people heard it in sex ed. I think I did. But this is I've done it multiple times. I love doing this. It's very eye-opening. It's like a portal within yourself, but it's literally taking a mirror and putting it in front of yourself so you can see, so you can look inside of your womb, so you can look inside of your womb space, so you can see into that portal and visually self-exploring yourself. And it's doing it with the intention to fully understand your external and your internal as one, because I've said it multiple times in classes, but it's not just as above so below, it's also as within so without. So like making sure that you're really understanding yourself internally to bring it out externally. The other options that you can do for womb healing are meditations and visualizations. I think Jordy taught this one. I think she did the golden light one. Otherwise, I think Professor Danielle also teaches this one as well. But you can do it by just energetically clearing your womb by doing a guided meditation or your own self-guided meditation as well. That's literally just visualizing what your inner womb looks like, what your inner sacred space looks like within your womb space, because like I said before, your womb is an altar. So imagine all these portals where I told you where you're going to pull these energies from. There should be an altar. There should be an offering within this womb space. So creating that guided meditation for that altar within your womb space, because that's the holy grail, like that's where all of your cosmic knowledge is. So creating that visual altar within that womb space through meditation. You can also do it by doing the rubbing your hands together and creating that energetic space, to place that bubble over top of your womb space. You can do white energy, clear energy. I've seen golden energy. I personally prefer gray, but everything I do is in gray energy. So for me, that's just what it works. A lot of people prefer that golden energy. That's the one that I see a lot. So that is literally, like I said, rubbing the hands together, getting your energy together, creating that energetic bubble, that energetic space, and placing it within your womb space. In the study guide, I did put a couple different meditations. I also put a link to a guided YouTube one that I really, really like. That one works really well. You can also look for a lot of different ones that are going to be for womb healing, because people are picky with guided meditations. You might absolutely hate the person's voice that I love, and I might absolutely hate the person's voice or things like that. So if you don't like what I find, like literally you can look in YouTube for womb healing guided meditations and you'll find different ones.
I was going to ask that.
I
I was
also
going to
have in
ask you if
here,
there was guided meditations on YouTube or if you had links to that, because I didn't see it, but thanks for that.
yes, you're welcome. Yes. And then I also have a chart in here for the chakras. So making sure that you understand like which chakra, which color is attached to like each part within, also whatever mantra you can be using to attach to that. So those are also used in meditation as well. So if you want to focus on like foundation stability, make sure that you're visualizing that the root chakra, make sure you're using that mantra, make sure you're using that when it comes to that womb healing. I've mentioned this before, but the dance, the music, intentional opening of the hips on honestly very sensual. Like it needs like I don't know, like sensual. Like you need to be able to release that. Pull that burlesque. Burlesque is amazing for this. You can even do yoga. You can even just like Shakira hips. Like I feel so old saying that. Oh my gosh, I just aged myself a lot. Wow. Whew, okay. I'm gonna pull myself back from that for a second. Man, I think myself is really old. I'm gonna check in the chat for a second. Oh, where would that be sent? I'm guessing you're talking about the resources. I'll put it in for sure this class chat, and then I can put it on the event page when I have it done, and then it'll be on my professor page. And I think Katie's still here in class. She's been super great at helping me get my study guides up. So she can probably help me with that too. So it'll be a beautiful time. Yes, Kay, I saw that already. Just so you guys know, spells and energy workings are more powerful and potent when done in sync with lunar soul anatomies, especially help with balancing. Da, 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 da. Yes, I'm going to talk about that even in my moon ceremony. Um, when it comes to the solar events and things like that. There's so much dang energy in it. Nobody. Okay, for one, that makes me really sad that somebody felt that it was okay to say that to you, and I'm really, really sorry, Jalinda, because that's just very rude, and I'm really, really sorry. I don't feel like anybody should be saying something like that to somebody. So I really apologize for that. But if you feel like you have stagnant energy within your womb, this will definitely help with that. I don't think that this, no, I completely disagree with that statement. And I feel very I'm very upset that somebody would say that to you. Um, make sure to speak that warmth and forgiveness into your wound as you're going through whichever methods you're using. Yep, I totally agree with that as well. Tell Yoni how warm and loving she is. Yep, I agree with that. I just have not gotten to the Yoni part yet. Let's see. She was trying to help me heal, and I felt okay. Okay, I feel a little bit better then. If it was with like super good intentions, that just hit me really hard. I just feel like hearing that would be really, it would just, I just would, I feel for that. Okay, so with the dance and the music, I also even attached a wound blessing song. I've used this personally before. I've had a couple of other people use it as well. I've listened to it quite a few times. So I did put that in there so you can find it on your own. Another way to do womb healing is also working on healing your mother relationship. Because you came from your mother's womb and she from her mother's womb and so on and so forth and so forth. And we all have mother wounds, whether even if you had a super amazing mother and you have this brilliant relationship, there is some type of mother wound there. Like everybody gets one at some point. You may have already worked through it, and that's possible. But if you still need to work on healing that relationship, there's so many different ways you can do that. Through therapy, shadow work, you can do shamanic journeys, cord cutting, deity work. You can be calling to your spirit guides, past life regression work, cord cutting. You can do all of these things, even if she's passed, because that energy's still there. Like you're still energetically connected. Like you're still energetically connected to your ancestors. So like that, you can still do all of this, even if she's passed. I mean, I don't know from personal experience, but I honestly feel like it might be a little bit easier because she's passed. Because she can't add more repeated patterns of behavior. So like I feel like that's why. Not in the sense that like you're obviously like this the sadness of her being passed, but just the fact that she can't add like more patterns of behavior on top of it and add more trauma. I've been trying to work on cord cutting for many years. I want to cut the cord with her, but remain connected to my grandmother. That's you can do that. You've cut cords with one person. I cord cutting, I am gonna talk about cord cutting when I do my protection class. I have I have a lot of experience in that. Cord cutting is something that I have done many different ways with many different masters through many different practitioners, and it's not always 100% successful. That's just going to be what I'm going to say on that until I talk about own protection, because and you may have to do it over and over and over again. It depends on that relationship. It depends on how attached it is. There's a lot that's attached to that. There could be deals that are attached to it that you don't know about. There could be contracts signed that have to do with you that you don't know about. There could be a lot of things. But I'll go over that when it comes to protection. Her blood runs through you, a truth for each of us in regards to our ancestors. Yes, that is very true. Yes. When I go over sacred contracts and ancestors, I'm going to elaborate that on actually a little bit more. I view ancestral work a little bit differently than most practitioners do. Um, I like, hope you, yes, yes, I have finally been able to let go of mine. It took this is, it's, yes. Mother wounds, there's something. Okay, so in the study guide, I have a womb journaling prompts in there for you to be able to look at. I also have the ovarian ritual breathing, which that's another way that you can do womb healing. I do this at least once a week. At least once a week, sometimes more. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes more. It depends. If I have sex magic involved for the week, I don't do it quite as much. If I don't, then I do my ovarian ritual breathing more. I know that I think it was Melissa who said that she did it before class. They did it before class. I don't want to assume pronouns, so I'm gonna fix that. But I think Melissa said they did it before class and they thought that it was absolutely amazing. So if you haven't tried it yet, like I asked you to for homework, definitely try it. Yay. Yes, I love it. I love it. It grounds you really, really well. And then off for womb healing, obviously, you can also do affirmations and mantra work. They work amazing. I have listed here for you to do affirmations and mantra work. It's just like any other affirmation mantra work I've taught you guys, and you do the same with any of that. I also have shadow work prompts in here as well. So next is using a yoni egg or a crystal wand. So what is a yoni egg? So before we really get into like the super like fun details of it. It really just is like a small smooth egg. It's a shaped stone or crystal, and it can be inserted into your vagina or worn for a lot of different holistic purposes. I've seen some people wear them. I've seen them inserted. I don't. I just got one to insert. My first one was like what, 3 months ago? I think I just got one to insert. Otherwise, prior to this, I was just having it rested inside my pants, like in my underwear, in my vagina, like with me, or like in my leggings. Like it was literally like just on top of my vagina. Just because personal reasons, my vagina, yes. I needed to figure out sizing. That was my issue. I do have a chart in here for sizing as well, recommendations for that. Why is it called a yoni? It's called a yoni because of that Sanskrit word that I told you before. So it's used to describe your female sexual organs, your vagina, your vulva, your uterus, like all of that. It stems from the god, it stems from the goddess Skati in Hinduism. Um, yes, thank you. I coughed. The benefits of using a yoni egg are pretty much the same as really womb healing, honestly. Um, the biggest with added benefits of you get to strengthen your vaginal muscles. It also helps you improve or prevent like having urinary incontinence, so having a weak bladder. It can also enhance your sexual pleasure. I've personally noticed that. That it definitely does. You're definitely a lot more sensitive. Um, I think it's just because of the crystal itself, and you can pick different types of crystals, but yes, it definitely enhances your sexual pleasure. Intensifies your orgasms as well. It can reduce your menstrual cramps, like I talked about before, healing after childbirth. Help balances your hormones. It can help heal negative wounds from childbirth as well. So, like if you had a traumatic you while being birthed or while giving birth, if you had a traumatic experience, like it can help heal with that and help heal with that energy. It also helps with stimulating healthy vaginal lubrication. So like I had stated before, like this is another thing that can help, as with same with the yoni steam, like can help with wetness. It can also help with any of the metaphysical properties, obviously, that crystal is attached to. Because that metaphysical property that the crystal is attached to is not going to go away just because you're inserting it into your vagina. So like you're still like, if, for example, you were to pick like aventurine, which is usually good fortune and luck. I don't think that's one. I don't know why I threw that one out there. But if you were like that metaphysical quality is not going to go away just because you're inserting it into your vagina. So like you're still going to get whatever that spiritual metaphysical quality is that's attached to that crystal. And then it also, by doing this, helps you create a much more sacred connection to your yoni and your yoni energy, because it is that crystal, it's that constant energy. Like you're connecting to like the earth and all the energy and the vibrations of that crystal. How does it work? I'd be afraid it would get stuck there. So I have never found a story of it getting stuck. That's not saying it hasn't happened, but I haven't personally come across a story where it's gotten stuck. But you can actually buy ones that like have like little holes drilled through them so that you can string. And what I've seen and heard most people do is they'll do floss that is unflavored and unwaxed, and then they'll string it through it like a tampon string. So then if you really are afraid of it, like you have that string that you can just pull it out with. I've also seen some come with strings as well, but you can buy them like with the holes that go through, and then you can thread. Like I said, I've seen it. Floss is the most common thing that I've seen, making sure it is unflavored, unscented, and not waxed. That's not going to be, you don't want that in your vagina. But yes, if you're afraid of that, yes. But I've never had an issue. I've never had an issue. And yeah, if if there's so many other sex toys that can go up your vagina, so like if they can go up there and not get stuck, like you're not gonna have issues with the yoni egg. Okay, where do you find them and how do you know which one is for you? Intuitively, would you just know? Yes, that's how I felt. And then your vagina is also gonna change. I noticed the first one, like sizing. Like I said, I have a chart in here. It's yeah, it's really kind of yes. Where can you find them? You can find them online. There's lots of really good shops for them. I can put some links on the resource page too, onto my resource page where you can find them. You can find them in a lot of metaphysical shops. I have found them even in some sex shops. I know that my local sex shop has some. They have some over with some of their vibrators and their dildos and things like that. So that is, you can find them in a couple different locations, but you can always order them online. I think the last place I got one of mine from was Eden's Fantasies, I think, because I have a couple now. I get my first wand here soon. That's gonna get delivered here soon, so that's gonna be interesting. Where do you find them? Okay, let's see. Sorry, but how do they get out if you don't pull them back out? Your muscles. You can contract your muscles and you can go and get them out with your fingers. So like I so it's the same concept as like when you're having sex. Like you have the ability to contract and restrict like your vagina muscles. Like you have the ability to do that even like if there's a penis in there. So like you can do the same with a yoni egg to like get it, squeeze it out. That's the best way that I can explain it. And then also like you can just go and pull it out. Like you're gonna insert it with by pushing it in with your fingers. You can put a finger up there and pull it out. You can push it out. Yeah, with your muscles. Yeah, vaginas are strong, man. Like they are strong. Okay, so here's how they're thought to work. Kind of to explain it. Actually, I don't really think I need to explain it much further than that. Okay, so there's also the other way that you use them too, is the constrict. It's almost like Kegel exercises to where you're gonna like constrict and restrict and constrict and restrict, like tighten, constrict and restrict on them. And by doing that, you're going to end up increasing the blood flow and the circulation in that area, which is going to start the energy flow. It's going to start that spiritual and the energy flow within your womb. So it helps create and like waken up like more of like the nerve endings within there, which will help you be able to access more of that trauma, access more of that emotion, and to be able to pull forth like more healing. So like that's another way like you can use them as well. When it comes to like I said, like spiritual body, like using them, like it increases your blood. So spiritually, like it's gonna increase your spiritual connection, like with your partner. Because the pleasure is going to be increased. You're also going to have that emotional connection there. And you're going to be able to connect to your yoni while you're connecting with your partner. I have tied womb healing to sex magic like a lot, like I think more than most do. So that is something that I feel like my sex magic has been absolutely amplified like through the roof since I've really, really focused on womb healing, and I've had a lot of breakthroughs with it because that spiritual connection, that cord to your partner becomes so much clearer. That spiritual connection, that cord to your partner becomes, it's a lot more tangible because you don't have so much gunk and junk sitting in that womb area. You don't have so much gunk and junk sitting down in that area where your souls are connecting with your partner. So that's like spiritual connection, like it help like that is it really, really opens it up. Um, when you shouldn't use a yoni egg. So during pregnancy, I mentioned that earlier. If you have a sexually transmitted disease, obviously you don't want to use that for sanitary reasons. If you have vaginal infections, if you yeast infection, like don't do that. You don't want to be putting other things in there. Like you want to make sure you're healed, you're fully healed. Not during your menstrual cycle because that's just going to be a mess, and it's going to also that's going to mess with your hormones. The energy is going to be in there. It's going to create a mess with your hormones and with your cycle. And then so they say if you have an IUD, I have an IUD personally, and I've never had issues with it. The master that I've spoken to, because of how my body has reacted to an IUD, I think is why I don't have issues with it. So I would consult with like with a womb priestess, like if you have an IUD, or consult like just on that one specifically. I don't want to like say full force, like go full force with that, just because everybody's body is different. My body has reacted to an IUD very differently than others. So I think that's why. So just keep that in mind as well. Like your body, like how your body reacts to those things matter. And then when it comes to, somebody had asked before, when it comes to choosing, it's 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 a sacred process. It's very intuitive. It also can feel super daunting. A lot of the common questions, like you said, is like the size. There's typically like three different sizes. There's a small, medium, and large. And it typically has to do more with like the strength of your vaginal muscles than it has to do with like the size. So a lot of people will be tempted to start out with a smaller egg because it seems like less daunting, but like really you're going to want to start larger because it's going to be less that you have to restrict. It's going to be less muscle work. It's going to be like you're going to like be able to build up your muscle work to get to the smaller one. So it's going to be way less muscle work if you start with that bigger one. And I mean, people might think it's going to feel uncomfortable, but honestly, it feels more comfortable to have it more full than to sit there and try to be controlling and keeping it in at first all the time because of your muscle strength not being there. Um, and the larger ones, like I said, it's just also easier for your muscles to grip and hang on to. When it comes to like rich crystals you should be used, there's a lot of different theories on it. Some that tie to Hinduism, some that tie to Taoism, some that tie to a lot of different ones. It's okay to do if you have a pelvic organ. I'm gonna double check on that. Jalinda, I'm gonna double check on that because I am not 100%. I'm not a doctor or a medical expert, so I'm gonna check on this. I want to know exactly how it affects your body before, and I'm also gonna check with my teacher on this. Okay, I'm gonna check on it though for you. Thank you for asking. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, the crystals that you can use. Most commonly, black obsidian I've seen, rose quartz I've seen because it helps open up the heart and love and self-love and everything rose quartz. You know, rose quartz. It's just rose quartz. One of mine shattered today. It made me really sad, by the way. Side note, I was super, super upset. But I think I know who shattered it, and she's been feisty with me since she showed up a couple days ago. So okay, so and then so like I said, most people usually start with a jade eggs, then they go to black obsidian to work on their shadow self part, and then they go to rose quartz. You can pre I've seen a lot of different types of them that you can use for different crystals. It just depends on what you need. I did put a chart in here that breaks down some different ones for what you would like to use it for. So smoky quartz will be more for like transmutation of like your own negative energy into positive energy. Rose quartz is going to be more that self love and that healing. Crystal quartz obviously is just base crystal quartz. It's amplification of your intentions. It's cleansing. It's all of that. You have black obsidian, which is going to be your protection. Green aventurine, which is fertility, confidence, optimism, abundance. Like that's all types of abundance. And red aventurine is also confidence, but it's more desire and passion and arousal. And then you have red jasper, which does creativity. And I do have affirmations in here as well for you, towards the end of the study guide to look at as well. And I think really my last kind of things that I really have to say when it comes to womb healing is like I kind of touched on before, like your mental health is amazing and therapy is amazing. It'll make absolutely amazing shifts with you. And a lot of them are starting to focus more on like somatic things and starting to focus more on like body things and bringing your body into that therapy and healing. But womb healing really brings you into that physical sense of the healing. It brings you into the physical being of the trauma. It brings you into the deepest part of your body. It brings you in the deepest part of your energy and wisdom is stored. And that is why I feel like you end up having the biggest catalyst shift. You end up having the biggest breakthroughs is because you're really truly clearing stuff out. And you're not just clearing your own stuff out, you're clearing the stuff out for generations before you and generations after you. And it's just, yes, like I said, it's you rebirthing yourself. It's really truly is when you go through this process and like it's really rebirthing yourself through your own womb is really, really what it is. And it's absolutely phenomenal. And like I said before, it really can coincide with shadow work. So if you're really starting that journey with shadow work, doing these in tandem are gonna be it's going to be incredibly beneficial for you, and you are going to see a much more accelerated expansion in growth if you do them in tandem than if you were to do one at a time. Okay, any questions? Now we are at the end because, like I said, I'm not going to do any like meditation with you guys because, like I said, this is a very, very personal thing because this could bring up sexual trauma, sexual assault, things like that, and I don't want to. That is an energetic container that should be only for you and only for somebody that you trust and only for somebody who's holding that energetic space for you. So again, like that's why I'm not doing that with you guys tonight. But do you guys have any questions at all? Now is the time to ask me them. And if I need to find more answers for you, I can also do that.
I'm going to jump on and ask a question. I don't see the hand raised, so I'm sorry.
Go for it.
My name's Andrea. I guess in relation to the encouragement that you've given to folks that have had, and I would guess a lot of us have, some form or another in their lifetime, some trauma related to our wombs. But I was thinking as you were talking that maybe like the meditation or even like the external massage could be some good places to kind of start to gently coax ourselves into recognizing that it is a healing opportunity so that we
Yes.
don't have to go directly into the deep intensive exploratory stuff or maybe the steam. I think that's pretty cool. But I
Yes.
was encouraging, I guess, to don't avoid it. Just find something that feels safe to approach the process of starting the womb healing.
Yes, I 1,000% agree with this. You guys can do this in any order. You can do any ones that you want to do. You don't even have to do all of them. So you guys can do this in any order that you want. If something just doesn't intuitively feel right, for you, if it doesn't feel like it's the right divine timing, if you need to like meditation, like always affirmations, meditation, really just looking at that first is really a really good starting point. If you feel like you want to dive in, go for it. Dive right in. Whatever is going to work best for you. Like that, it's your journey and you start it where you want and you move through it however you need to move through it. And you, like I said, some things may not work for you. Some things may work for me that don't work for you. Some things may work for you that don't work for me. Because like I said, like I just did my first yoni steam literally a month ago. And I've been doing womb work for a while. Like it took me until listening to a shaman that I've been working with on chakra alignment, like hearing like her experience and then one of the other participants, like hearing her experience, like it took me until hearing that to be willing to do that. So like, yes, there are some things that it may take you a little bit to feel comfortable doing. 1,000%.
I had a question.
Yes.
The crystals that you mentioned, are they in the study guide?
Yes.
And also, what type of crystal would you use? Like a tower or hearts or?
So they're typically like almost like palm stones, but they're actually like rounded and shaped like an egg. And then they also make crystal wands. Most of them look like an actual penis. Most of those crystal wands will like look like an actual penis, or like they'll be like it's longer and thicker than what would be considered a tower.
Okay.
Like they actually look like dildos.
Okay.
Like they're smaller dildos.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Do we have more homework from this class?
So for this class from womb healing, if you are comfortable with it and you haven't done the homework from before, I would want you to do it again for another week. And then if this is something that you want private help with, I want you to just reach out to me on that one. And then tomorrow I'm going to be posting homework for next week's class on the next topic we're covering.
Okay.
Does that answer your question, honey?
Yeah. Also, if I may, can I ask what was the homework from the last class? I missed it.
So I put it into the chat. So
you did?
there are journal prompts, and I want you to journal any feelings that come up when you read those prompts. There's an affirmation that I want you to recite to yourself at least once daily, and also journal any feelings that come up, positive or negative. And then the other one was practicing the ritual ovarian breath at least once throughout the week. If you can do it more than once, that'd be awesome, but at least once, just so you can feel what that feels like, fully getting that breath into your womb space with that intention.
Okay, that's what you posted for this class. I mean the last class, the shadow class. The shadow work.
class. I don't remember right now, to be honest.
Okay.
Let me double check on that after this. I'm sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained. COVID is really not. It's okay. I will double check on the shadow work stuff. Let me double check on that.
Okay,
I would
no
like
problem. Thank
I
you.
would like that too because I missed the shadow work one as well.
Okay, I will double check homework. What did I do for homework for that? I have it written down and it's in the study guide. I just need to grab it. So I will
Okay.
put that in the chat later tonight for you guys.
In
Thank
Let
you.
me
this,
miss it.
in the study
will-
guide, is it going to be in the divination page or besides what you put into the chat today? Because I can't access it unless it's in the study guides.
Yes, they will get to it is going to be on the website. I just haven't gotten my page created yet, but they will be added to the divination website. It's on my list of things that I'm doing, and Katie's helping me do that too. So once I get, and she's gonna help, she just asked me a couple days ago if she could get those posted to the website. So yes, they will be there for you, Andrea. And then I'm going to try to get them onto the community page too. Sometimes it's just hard because the events will kind of disappear.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are super welcome. How can I join? I'm actually not in the classes. Oh, awesome. Go find, I'm going to put the chat in here for you. Our page. So if you go to our Facebook page and all you have to do is send us a message. It's okay, Katie. We were also working on the calendar. So I get it. I totally get it. And I've been working on like 5 different projects too. Like, I get it. Us admins, we get really busy. So it's totally fine. Okay. I was answering something before too. And man, I get really sidetracked by this chat. Oh, I put in our website page. If you are not a member of our classes, you're not one of our students, just send us a message on the Facebook page saying that you want to enroll as a student, and one of our admins will reach out and then we'll get you enrolled and you get added to the chats and all that fun stuff. And then you can see all of our classes, and also on that Facebook page, all of our classes are posted there too. So you can see all the topics and everything that we have coming up. Our class schedule has really filled up, so we have a lot of stuff coming up. I didn't hear the answer. What's the best way to clean yoni eggs and crystal wands? So any way that you would clean a dildo or a vibrator, but please be careful because some crystals are not supposed to be in water. So make sure that you don't put any in water that are not supposed to be. So make sure you look up and you know what crystals can be in water and what can't. I also make sure that mine get cleansed and saged. And mine also get put out with my full moon and my new moon and at my altar. They also get the moon energy as well. That's not like you don't have to do that because not everybody works with moon energy, but that is something like for my practice, like I do that. And then, yeah, so like any way that you would take care of, like I said, but like I said, just make sure don't put any crystals in water or clean them underwater that are not supposed to be in water. Okay, any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much, guys. If you do think of anything else, just reach out to me in the chat. I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday for Dark Goddess Devotionals. If you're there, we're doing Keratin. Not a lot of people know about her. And I promised I wasn't just gonna do Greek goddess after Greek goddess, so I've been mixing it up every week. And then next week, what am I doing next week? What class am I doing next week? Let me check. Give me 1 second, guys. What topic did I pick? What topic did I pick? Let's see.
On my calendar, it says Sacred Contracts, Akasha Records, Fate and Destiny.
Yes, I was hoping that was the next one. This one I am so excited about for Sacred Contracts and the Akashic Record. A lot of people don't know a lot about Sacred Contracts. My take and my personal view on it is very interesting as well. It is mixed from 7 different religions, 7 different pantheons for my own personal answer. And I love it. I love Sacred Contracts. I will tell you everywhere that I come from, all my different polls, all my different answers, and the Akashic Record. If I'm feeling up to it, which I hopefully with COVID should be back, I should be able to take you there. I have a pretty direct line to that, so I should be able to get you there through meditation. So super excited about that one. So thank you guys. I look forward to seeing you. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.